Alright everybody, so I've been sent this video by a few people who've been asking me to watch it. It came out 3 weeks ago, so it's a little bit old, but it's by a YouTuber named It's a Gundam. Now here's my opinion on It's a Gundam, okay? This guy encapsulates, for me in my mind, the word chud. So much so to a point where I consider his voice, which you'll recognize right away, I call it the chud voice. Sorry, the chud accent is what I should call it. You will recognize it immediately, and when you hear his accent, and you make the connection, you'll understand right away how many chuds online that are in this space of content creation and internet engagement try very hard to sound like this. I think it's like an attempt to sound disaffected and like edgy in terms of accent almost. It's sort of a pseudo Boston, New York accent mix. You'll hear it. You'll understand it. Anyway, he made a video that's like very 2014 called Gaming Journalism Isn't About Gaming or Journalism. Hell yeah, we getting some Gamergate shit in 2023. You guys remember when I got called crazy for saying that another Gamergate era is coming to the internet? That these dumb fucks are going to radicalize a whole new generation of little Zoomers who are going to create a whole market for this right-wing reactionary politics all over again, and then the whole cycle's going to repeat? I told you. We're back on Gamergate's wild ride.
As I get older, I find myself noticing patterns and trends that I would have been oblivious to years ago. And that is that gaming journalism isn't about gaming or journalism, but more so about grandstand. The first rule of entertainment is to entertain. You give the people what they want, then you leave them wanting more.
I like it a lot.
I feel like
you're not gonna get a lot of like actual arguments out of this video. You're just gonna get like the bog standard like, why are the SJWs talking about politics in relation to media? Media is about entertainment, not politics. Why are they analyzing it politically? Why are they critiquing it politically? Why are they doing like? They are literally mad about the idea of there being, like, it used to be somewhat reasonable, like, okay, yeah, there's definitely a lot of corruption and, like, lack of integrity when it comes to gaming journalism, for sure. Like, the larger outlets are pretty much, like, at this point, even still, the larger, like, IGN and whatnot literally write their articles with AI. They write them with ChatGPT. So it's like Kotaku, all that shit. They write their articles with ChatGPT. They're shameless, right? But these guys, if they even do talk about that, they have political motivations. They disagree with the political beliefs that a lot of these organizations, not even the organizations, the people the organizations employ that to write op-eds hold. And so they're mad that people who hold differing political views are talking about their video games. That is literally the core of this. That is what they are mad about. If he does talk about shit like these random gaming like platforms, gaming outlets now just like writing their articles with AI and being complete fraudsters at this point in terms of like having any value to offer to the gaming community, he's only going to do it in service of pushing a right-wing agenda. That's the sad thing. You're not going to get any real, arguments out of this. It's just going to be him kind of doing like Chud 2016 tier analysis.
modern media has totally forgotten this. P.T. Barnum is rolling in his grave. That and the fact that TikTok is the new P.T. Barnum. You can see a freak for free on your phone. Back in the day.
Whoa, TikTok bad. Whoa. Trans people bad. Whoa, pink hair bad.
You had to pay at least 2 bits. Anyway, the job of a reviewer is to tell people about the product they're reviewing. But modern gaming journalism feels more about the journalist's personal beliefs than anything else. I assume this really ramped up with Gamergate, which I was ignorant of at the time, and still kind of ignorant.
Wait, really? Is he trying to claim that? This guy was big on Gamergate. Wasn't this guy huge on Gamergate? This guy was a massive Gamergater, wasn't he? Hold on, let me look at this guy's most popular videos real fast. Let's go to this guy's videos and sort by most popular. So, oh yeah, this was back when he was doing the harassing Pokimane shit. A lot of his most popular videos are on Pokimane. Gaming video. Obi Wokanobi, Return of the Fandom Menace, featuring the Critical Drinker, Mauler, and Nerdrotic. Dude, it is wild to me that JXC defends Mauler. Like, Mauler is legitimately just right-wing. Just straight up, just right-wing. Holy shit. The Litter Mermaid. G4 TV that hates gamers. The most savage man on earth rants. The Tinder trap is crap. Entitled Twitch Thought Invader V loses 87k after subscription fee rant. Anti-TikTok. Reject comic books, embrace Japanese manga. Him getting mad about a comic book being pro-trans. Anti-Rings of Power. No, this guy's a Gamergater. This guy's just a Gamergater who wasn't making content back during Gamergate. Literally all of his most popular content, literally up to like 4 years ago when he started making videos, is just Gamergate content. This guy was a Gamergater. He just wasn't making content during Gamergate. And he knows that like associating with Gamergate is really cringe, but he's literally just a Gamergater. JXC is so awesome, it's wild. They defend Mauler, but I guess they've been friends for super long. Yeah, it's just that, like, Mauler is very clearly, like, a reactionary. I think it's probably, like, a sort of, like, just sort of defend your friends kind of response. But, yeah, like, JXC is just objectively wrong about Mauler not being reactionary. He is absolutely right-wing, and his opinions on media are absolutely formulated almost entirely based on his political leanings.
Of now, despite the fact of being linked to Gamergate multiple times. With journalism that good, you could technically link me to Kennedy's assassination if your perception of reality is twisted enough. The point that I'm trying to make is...
Yes, there's no connection between this guy's content and Gamergate shit. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm buying it. I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker, man. I bought it.
I think I want gaming journalism sites to die. With trash sites like Vice and BuzzFeed going bang.
I agree, but for different reasons. I agree for very different reasons. I hate all the big gaming journalism sites too, for a laundry list of reasons that if this guy even recognizes or knows, it's only because he uses those reasons as backup for pushing a political narrative.
Bankrupt, I sit and count the days, waiting with bated breath for the end of Kotaku. And frankly, could you blame me?
The PlayStation 5 review.
Ah, that was a good old classic. It had a whole section about BLM and elections.
It also felt so pointless, just like everything I've ever done.
Like, bro, does PlayStation 5 do 4K 60 or not, you boner? I don't care about the election.
Okay, that's an op-ed, dude. Do you know what an op-ed is? Do you know what an opinionated editorial piece on a journalism website is? Like, of all the things to complain about, the one that was probably actually written by a person giving their opinion on the PS5. Like, yeah. Also, they're talking about the state of the world having an effect on access to getting a PS5, which is relevant to reviewing a PS5. The COVID pandemic and the response to it and the BLM riots are relevant to whether or not getting a PS5 is possible. Like, dog, I know you want to find a way to shoehorn in the idea that any form of referencing anything political in a talk about gaming must mean you're like a crazy SJW or whatever, but I would say when it came to the really impossible access to PS5s back when they first launched, I'd say COVID, the government's response to COVID, and the BLM protests had a pretty relevant impact on discussions around getting a PS5. And whether or not you should. I think that was somewhat relevant. I don't think they just, like, started talking about the election out of fucking nowhere. And even if they did, it's an op-ed. Like, who cares?
I'm trying to be Spider-Man, my dude.
Board Gaming Executive says some wildly sexist stuff.
Kotaku Journal.
The funniest thing, too, about this is, and I hate these sites as well. I hate to have to be put in a position where I'm defending these sites, but, you know, this guy's so incompetent at attacking these sites that I want to fall and see destroyed that I have to, like, go after him and, by extent, defend these sites. Of all the things to attack, you attack the things that aren't AI-generated, like, fluff articles, right? Like, if you, there's a really good test for this. Look up Final Fantasy XIV Bis Lancer level 30. Any question about Final Fantasy XIV? Everything that comes up are sponsored articles by IGN or Kotaku or something like that. That's just a list of Lancer weapons written by AI, pushed to you on top of everything else. I hate that shit. It makes me so mad. None of those articles written by big gaming publications about what is the best gear or like what is like anything that's like something somewhat, if it can't be proven mathematically to be the best and you can't just straight up Google it like that, then those articles will have just some AI written fluff and it's garbage. You have to add Reddit to the search. Reddit will help, yeah. You can add Reddit or you can add like a question mark or like a like forum or answer to the end, and you'll find other stuff too. But yeah, Reddit's a big one.
Journalist talks about shit no one cares about. That's the article I'm writing or the video you're viewing now. On April 26th, Kotaku was blacklisted from Nintendo. And frankly, we all know they had it coming. The overall consensus on Twitter was jubilation.
It's preview day for Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. A huge game I would love for Kotaku to be able to inform its millions of readers about firsthand.
Funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
Fortunately, Nintendo still has its blacklist from advanced coverage, a move I would argue is both unprofessional and...
Did he like heighten the pitch of his voice out of nowhere or something? I don't know what's he... Oh, it's because he's reading the tweet, maybe? I don't know. Maybe he's reading something. These videos are really cringe. I feel like this is the kind of shit I would have been like binge watching nonstop when I was 17. But now as like a 23, almost 24-year-old, I'm watching this right now and I'm just like cringing to the core. Like unironically playing like the Joker clip, the Fire and Joker laughing clip about Kotaku getting blacklisted by like Nintendo. Like how much of a fucking loser can you be that is something you created without a hint of irony in your heart? It is your job to create stuff like that. This is literally your job. And you can, like, you have respect for yourself, presumably. Maybe you don't. I mean, maybe he doesn't.
And coercive.
And that's very good news. No one deserves to suffer through the trash articles Kotaku pushes out.
The funniest thing, too, is who's making you? That's the funniest part. Like, gamers do not seek out gaming journalist outlets for anything at this point other than to dunk on them. Like, Game Informer, I guess, was like a thing, right? But like at this point, nobody reads game article reviews at all. Like, do you know who you know who I go to hear like a review for a game? I watch Before You Buy. Or if I want like an in-depth game review for a game I've already played, like an analysis, I watch like White Light. Or that Boy Aqua, I think, makes good game reviews too. Mostly like around Assassin's Creed. Like, yeah, there's some good stuff out there, but most gamers are watching YouTubers for their like opinions on media and games and stuff. Like at this point, the people who are consuming games journalist content are going out of their way to look at op-eds about political shit in the gaming sphere. It seems like that's become the market that they are in favor of, which is, of course, part of this video. But at the end of the day, that just means that he's just mad that these outlets have political opinions he disagrees with. Like, he agrees... Like, this is him being in favor of censorship in a way. Like, he politically disagrees with these outlets, and he wants to see them gone. He doesn't like the idea of there being platforms expressing opinions he doesn't agree with. Having a space in the community that he identifies with. That no doubt he bases his entire personality around. No doubt this guy, first and foremost, thinks of himself as a gamer. Before anything else, this guy is a capital G gamer.
Wait, people still read Kotaku? Actually, living people, and not clickbots hired to make impressions for a site they can claim are real people to their advertisers. Kotaku deserves nothing. You're wrong. Kotaku deserves bankruptcy.
I'm glad people agree with me on this. You know, I thought it was just being toxic, but it's actually...
Okay. I'm sorry. How insecure do you have to be to have commissioned this many Chad meme edits of your rant, Sona? This is the second Chad meme edit we've seen of your rant, Sona, dude. This is not a good look. Is his nipples hearts? Is that what's happened here? There's no way this is ironic. These dudes love trying to claim this shit is ironic, but it never is. You know who else tried to claim that this shit was ironic? Who remembers the OG? The OG rant Sona, bro. Who remembers? Many of you guys don't even remember this guy. It's been so long. It's been so long. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. No bullshit himself. Tell me this is not no bullshit vibes. His channel's long dead. He hasn't uploaded in years, but yeah. No bullshit was really the pinnacle of the type of content that It's a Gundam makes. When a channel of that type becomes so desperate for ad revenue and their genre falls off so hard and their fans like walk away to new content creators making the same shit so much that they become desperate and just eventually fall off the face of the earth and are completely forgotten as nothing other than a joke. No one remembers no bullshit other than as a joke. Think about that. A few years ago, No Bullshit was rocking 800,000 subscribers, more subs than It's a Gundam, I think, and was making pretty much the same exact type of content as him and probably even getting more views. And now he's remembered by nobody other than as a joke. That is the end of the story for all of these people. It takes different varying amounts of time for each of them, but that's where all of them end up.
Actually, the overall consensus that we can all agree, united, whether
No
you're
Bullshit
Republican
hasn't
or
uploaded in
Democrat,
years.
that Kotaku is trash.
Maybe don't tell people how to pirate Nintendo's games and encourage people pirating Nintendo's games, and Nintendo won't blacklist you, question mark.
Oh my fucking god. Wait, are Chud Gamers gonna come out as anti-piracy to spite game journalism outlets? Wait, all of a sudden game piracy is bad? I will admit though, to be fair, the worst of the worst gamers dick ride Nintendo. It's always the worst of the worst gamers that dick ride Nintendo. Nintendo's consoles are trash. Nintendo's practices, objectively anti-consumer. Nintendo is a shit company. The only thing Nintendo does that is good is make games that are good. That's all they do. Nintendo makes good games, and then they console lock them. They engage in some of the heaviest litigation against people who pirate their games that you can possibly imagine. And they have some of the heaviest copyright abuse you could possibly imagine they do against content creators who play their games for a long time and still to this day. And they make very bad, very overpriced, underpowered consoles that are an absolute scam. And the only reason why you would buy a Nintendo console is because you can only play Nintendo games on the Nintendo console unless you want to pirate it and figure out how to do fucking emulation. But if you do an emulation, there's a good chance you get your internet service shut down because Nintendo will literally send a cease and desist to your ISP and have your internet service shut down. They may even pursue legal action against you if you're the one who's like spreading the content. So it's like, yeah, legitimately fuck Nintendo, and gamers who defend Nintendo, like who stan it and whatnot, are actually like the worst of gamers. Like I think they are the worst of the gaming community. This is like my OG like PC master race talking points coming out, but like they're completely true. Nintendo is like one of the worst companies in the gaming community, and I don't know, like it has such an ooh-woo squeaky clean reputation because of their like their marketing and their way of presenting themselves, but they are literally on tier with Activision, I would say, in regards to how scummy they are. They're just scummy in a different way. Like they've Stockholm syndromed their fans. Nintendo fans have Stockholm syndrome. That's what it is. It's really that simple. Like they're just as shit to you as Blizzard or Activision. It's just that you're in love with Nintendo, and you will pay $400 for like a console that should be $200, maybe $150 the most, just so you can play Tears of the Kingdom. Like, unironically.
Mark?
What are you guys at now? Ubisoft, Bethesda, and Nintendo? On May 2nd, Luke Plunkett, I believe, posted this tweet in retaliation.
For the record, this is how I feel about publishers' blacklists.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Our boy Luke posted this thinking it was some sort of imaginary badge of honor. He awarded himself the Purple Heart for fighting tyranny and corrupt companies. Congratulations, Luke.
I like how these people's disagreement with, like, political disagreement with some of these, like, journalists means that they're getting blacklisted by massive, like, game publishers that in most conversations are agreed to be, like, shit companies. Now we're defending them. Now we're defending Bethesda. Now we're defending Ubisoft. You know? Now we're defending Nintendo. Right? When it comes to dunking on a games journalist and wanting them to literally not have a career anymore because we disagree with them politically, now we're defending the massive evil corporations that are ruining the gaming industry. And they did the same thing back during Gamergate, by the way. If you guys remember, back when loot boxes and microtransactions and all the things that we consider to be banes to the gaming community today that are just everywhere now, that plague all games, when those were starting to become an issue, the GamerGaters ignored those issues and instead focused on, like, minorities being in games and games journalists, like, saying there's not enough brown people in The Witcher or whatever. And when you would talk to me, be like, why are you so mad about this random games journalist being progressive or whatever when, like, this new game that's coming out is going to have, like, insane microtransactions? Like, Fortnite's microtransactions in the grand scheme of things are not that bad, but Fortnite's microtransactions 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or not 5 years, that's a bit too much, 10 years ago would not have been accepted. The gaming community would have lost their shit at the microtransactions with, like, the Fortnite, the Fort coins, fucking, what are they called, V-Bucks and whatnot. Like, gamers would have lost their shit about that monetization system that Fortnite has back in the day. They would have legitimately lost their shit. The only reason they don't now is because gamers have been conditioned to accept microtransactions in games. Microtransactions are a relatively very new thing that hopped over from, like, very shitty mobile games to, like, proper video games, and gamers for a while tried to fight it, like, back during, like, the mid-2010s, and by the late 2010s to today, it is now normal, and it is now the bog standard for just about every live service game to have hardcore in-game shops, microtransactions, and coins that you pay real money for. That's become the norm at this point. And people have gotten conditioned to just be fine with it. And a large part of that is back when that was becoming a big issue, a lot of the gaming community was being pushed by Gamergate to instead focus on, like, there's too many minorities in this game, or this person doesn't think there's enough minorities in this game, right? They're the ones obsessing with politics. These people are literally just making op-eds with their own opinions. I don't think any of these journalists have attacked It's a Gundam specifically. But this guy's job is to attack these random, like, people because of their political opinions. And I have no doubt I might get a response video made on me by him, and I'm sure I will have lots of his fans brigading my channel shitting on me. But if you're an It's a Gundam fan and you watch my video and you actually get this far and you actually, like, hear my arguments, even if you don't agree, if you hear my arguments, I respect that. I do respect it. You know, like, if you're willing to actually hear out somebody that your favorite YouTuber has told you shouldn't even listen to because they have nothing valid to say, it should be a pretty big red flag that your favorite YouTuber suggests that you shouldn't even listen to what the left has to say, like, not even consider it, not even hear them out. That's a pretty big red flag, but, you know, do what you will do. This video is really boring, and I'm already starting to cringe to the extent that I don't think I can take it anymore. But I think I've gotten the basic premise out, right? Gamergate and Gamergate-esque talking points hurt gaming. All this does is divert attention from real issues that like, games are facing. Real issues that are, like, hurting games. For example, this guy is actively defending game studios that are currently embroiled in drama for overworking their employees and subjecting them to crunch time. That's insane. And releasing games on top of that are super subpar, and on top of that are also full of weird microtransactions that are arguably pay to win. Now, It's a Gundam is defending those companies because it's those companies versus a random lefty games journalist he doesn't like. These people will support all of the worst things happening to gaming if it means they get to own the lefties for a YouTube video that makes them money. It's just that simple. I hate to say it, but it really is. I think Gamergate actually contributed a lot to the degradation of the state of games that we're in now. And I think if you're a gamer, especially if you're like into your 20s and you've been playing games like for a while, I think you feel like the state of games as a genre being in like a lesser state at the moment. There are some great games out right now, don't get me wrong, but like games used to be better. That's just a fact. Games just used to be better. Nowadays it's like miss. Oh shit, this game was great. Miss, mid, miss. Great game, mid. It didn't used to be like that. It wasn't like that where you would play like, there would be a dozen games that come out that are super anticipated each year that end up being complete flops, that end up being terrible and complete over promises of what they actually can offer. That wasn't a thing back in the day to the degree it is now. It used to be that like games generally met expectations. Hell, the ET game was so bad for basically doing what games nowadays do all the time that I learned about it in school. That one Atari ET game that did literally what tons of games nowadays do. Like, think of how many games have basically pulled an ET. That was such a, like, unheard of thing back then that not only did it kill Atari, but I learned about it in school. Think about that. That kind of thing went down in history back in the day, but now it is a daily occurrence in the gaming, like, industry. It's wild. Yeah, it really hurt the gaming market overall, yeah.
When Kotaku inevitably goes bankrupt, I'm sure.
Oh, I guess we're finishing up the video. I'm not watching more of this. It's way too cringe. Anyway, I do hate Kotaku. I do hate all these outlets, and I do want to see them fall. But I want to see proper, actual human-run, non-corporately sort of constructed platforms come out in their place, right? A lot of these articles, a lot of these like platforms started way back in the early days of the gaming market, and there just hasn't been a lot of time for survival of the fittest to have its effect in the gaming market when it comes to the gaming journalism, you know? So hopefully we see some alternatives come out of all of this that are better, because Kotaku and IGN just writing a bunch of their articles using ChatGPT is a pretty blatant show of how little they care about the ethics of what they're doing and like the actual integrity of what they're saying. It's pretty clear that they're just kind of churning out what they can. And the op-eds are made by real people, sure, and that's what this guy's mad about, which is completely separate from the real issue, but still, yeah.